All right, friends. And we're moving along to the next one. We finally got a piece of some pie. I would love some pie right now. Pi 3.14 equals MC squared, something like that. Ironheart. 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 There's a show called Ironheart. I believe it's a 6-episode miniseries on Disney+. All right, so according to Google...
Wow, that's sad and reductive.
The only thing it says here, it says, genius teenager inventor Riri Williams creates the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. Okay, well, I'm going to expand on that just a wee bit. Riri is back from Wakanda. If you have seen Wakanda Forever, you are introduced to Riri Williams. If not, go watch Wakanda Forever. That movie's pretty damn awesome. Essentially, her study abroad internship at Wakanda ends, and she's over at MIT. She's trying to make herself a legacy to something that stands as her own, especially with the world being as it is in the shadow of a genius like Tony Stark. But with that, she's kind of run down and everything. Like, you know, she doesn't have the material she needs in order to really let her genius fly. Pun heavily intended. And with that, in order to get these things, she kind of comes in a bad way with some folk, doing her best and only to unravel all kinds of crazy shenanigans, dealing with what it means with legacy and also mixing technology with magic. And oh my lord, this actually opens up a whole slew of things with a character that has been so sought after since I'm pretty sure like maybe phase 2 of Marvel. So it's been quite a minute. It's been a thing that's been a thing for the longest time. Ironheart. Let me tell you something about Ironheart, friends. All that stupid internet drama of all that bullcrap aside, this show ain't bad. This particular part of the review will actually be a little harder to dissect and to eloquate, which is not the right word, but to be eloquently eloquocious and to eloquate for you to the things I loved about it are also the things that made the weaknesses show in the show. I'll explain. See, with the story, they did many things that I quite enjoyed, and the problem is they didn't explore them deep enough. They got, I felt like they got like a small shovel for a really big hole that they were trying to, but the shovel was like this deep, very shallow, and not at all like the tools that you might want to use in order to express the stories that they might have needed to really explore what someone like Riri Williams would need. And they had like a real opportunity to like focus it just a little better, because essentially she was at MIT, she's trying to do her best, and in order for her to get she kind of reluctantly joins this group who she finds out she thought they were doing maybe some good with like what they were trying to do, kind of like a Robin Hood situation. Literally, that's why my man Anthony Ramos from, you probably best know him from like Hamilton or something like that, kind of steal from the rich, give to the poor type situation. She reluctantly tries to join that, but it kind of goes south real quick because obviously there's nefarious activities going on. There was so much to work with that they just kind of went, they did little sprinkles. They put little sprinkles, little tapas on top of the story, and it didn't really get flushed out the way it needed to. And I think that was a big detriment for something that you could do from what I was reading about what you could do with someone like Riri Williams, who is, they say that she's potentially on a particular spectrum. I don't know if that's substantiated by the source material or the thing. I think Mama is just incredibly lonely in a way, and she's incredibly just unable to connect the same way because of how she sees the world and her actual like inherent and her very, very hard-earned genius. She actually, this is what she does. She loves to build things. Speaking on something like that, let's go into the performances for everybody coming in. You had a lovely little, you had a whole characterization of different types of people. Ms. Dominique Thorne as the titular Ironheart / Riri Williams. Doing lovely, as standoffish as she is, and I know a lot of people say like, man, she's what a selfish, terrible person. I was actually inclined to agree, especially in the first couple times, and she cracks every once in a while when she and then she kind of starts to open up, kind of near the end of the series, and I was like, Then I learned about a little bit of the source material. I guess she was sort of written that way, but some people say by mistake. you do kind of go in and out, like on her side, not on her side, on her side, because you're like, what are you doing? You're like, how do you feel? What are you doing? Why are you giving your mama such business? But those times when she does crack, it's actually really kind of profound. There's a beautiful scene in there where she kind of takes a holographic flashback and she lets the shield, she lets the guard down. She actually lets the more vulnerable human side of her come out, and understanding just what her actions mean to people and what it actually means for her to be honest with herself about what she wants. And by all means, she ain't perfect. So anybody out there apparently all sick of Mary Sue's and all that other bullshit, well, you definitely don't have a Mary Sue in this one, and now you're mad about it. What do you want? Y'all are worse than Rachel McAdams in The Notebook.
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
What do you want? So you have Alden and Ehrenreich. Probably most notably, he did the Solo movie. He was Han Solo for his character in the show. A lot of good characterizations, a lot of dimensions. Sometimes he was hardcore, sometimes he was very scared. Going good as Joe McGillicuddy, but an identity is secret. I also got to give a special little shout out to for Mama Lyric Ross, who plays Natalie Washington, and I got to give a little bit of a shout out too for my boy Anthony Ramos, who plays the Hood. I don't agree that people say he's not menacing. Like I said, some of the directional things and some of the messiness of the story structure didn't exactly invite a whole lot of menace for him to be presented. But when he was actually kind of honed in on, I thought he was pretty intimidating actually. Kind of, my man has, he is weird how a man with kind of like a baby face and like a kind of like a soft, gentler face can actually look like he's just a little erratic and sort of, it's like that a little bit of a spider sense that you don't know if they're going to actually pounce on you or do something out of character. So I thought that was cool. Overall, yeah, everybody's chiming in good. And I remember thinking, is this show, again, just like Thunderbolts, is it meant for someone of my demographic, or are we trying to reach kids who are much younger? Let that sink into your heads, friends, because I'm still trying to figure it out. I could probably ask, but I only get the AI Google search, and I'm pretty sure this could be a lie. It could not be. But Marvel and Disney, essentially, they're for kids. What age those kids are, it's a pretty wide spectrum. So yeah, touched on this just a little bit, but yeah, those osteoporosis inside the movie, those butt cracks, the weaknesses in the bones. Like I said, some directorial choices were a little bit didn't give the menace for someone like the Hood, Anthony Ramos' character, certain things to let them breathe a little bit again, and to also just really focus on maybe 2 thematic themes going on with Riri, like at most, especially for a 6-episode miniseries. And I know they're probably really maybe pitching in for a season 2, but I know it can happen, it could not. If they leave it open like this, I'd be interesting to see what they do with it, but I also hope they take it and they focus it more. Like that would be, if anybody at Disney who want to listen to a dude with like less than 100 people on his channel and who's never had a real professional job and so long in the arts. Anyway, I would just recommend that. Just like focus it in, really dig deep into what she's about and what the certain implications going on, because this show has a lot going for it as far as for what it can explore. Legacy, trauma, fear with sort of fear and tragedy in life in those circumstances, entitlement, a capitalist sort of mindset in a world that's made to keep, or rather a system that's made to keep certain people like elevated, but the elevation is like an illusion. You're actually still kind of an underling. AI versus reality, like the human consciousness, magic versus machinery, and the potential integration. So many things to explore. So overall, friends, Ironheart, I was never ever mad at it. If anything, I was just like wanting it to really go there. So for Disney Plus's Ironheart, I gotta give 6.2 slices of pizza. Why slices of pizza? Well, watch the show. If you know, you'll know.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?